Hey everybody, it is our annual Toys for Tots fundraiser for the holidays. For more information on that or to make a donation, check out the coffee page, link above my head. Good morning everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show, welcome back to the living room, welcome back to Sunday Show and Tell. First and foremost, I want to continue to thank you for continuing to help out the channel, engaging with the videos, leaving likes. Everything is getting pumped out there, everything is moving through the algorithm, and it's really helping, and I owe a lot to you. So please, if we could keep that going, give this video a like right now while you're watching so that we can get it out there, and it will basically, it's honestly the easiest way to help the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate and love all of you for it. Also, the subscriber count has continued to climb very well last month. Thank you for that as well, and hey, welcome to all of the newcomers. Second thing I want to talk about is yesterday I posted a video for our annual Toys for Tots fundraiser. It is November, it is our fall fundraiser. There will be a video right here above my head that you can check that out. Also, you can check out my coffee page where the video is pinned there and you can watch that, because that is the primary way that we will be taking donations for our Toys for Tots fundraiser. The link for that will be right here as well. Also, it's in the show notes below. One thing I forgot to mention, because it totally slipped my mind when I was making the video for the fall fundraiser, is if you don't want to leave YouTube, if you don't want to go to the coffee page, if you have reservations about that, I completely understand that. But I had forgotten that this year I have something I didn't have last year, which is at the bottom, those thanks. The thanks button has been activated, and you can donate directly that way as well. And anything that is collected through the thanks button below the video right there will get transferred and put into the fundraiser fund, the Toys for Tots fund as well. So that's another way that you can donate if you would like to, if that's a more secure transaction for you, going through the YouTube thanks button. I forgot I had that now. Now, on to the reason why you're here, and that is, of course, our Talkie Talk for Toys for the week. I thought it was going to be a slow week, but there's actually a lot of stuff that happened, most of it being Hasbro over this past week. Having said that, everybody has been talking about the Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Everybody's been talking about Star Wars. I'm not going to touch on those too much because everybody else has been talking about them. What I'm going to be discussing when we get to the Hasbro section mostly is going to be Transformers. Once again, I don't know a lot about Transformers. I loved Transformers as a kid, and I still watch the movies for the most part. Don't know too much about the toy line, but there was some really cool stuff that came out this past week for Transformers that is worth taking a look at. So to start off the episode today, we are going to start, as we always do, checking out our fundraisers. Jazz Inc. 1/12 scale Batwing, 22 days left to go, multiple tiers for backing, multiple packages, if you will, that you can pick up. Just the Batwing, Batwing and stand, Batwing and Batman figure, Batwing and everything else you can get. That is currently sitting at 828 backers of the 3,000 needed. It was at 787 last week, so it picked up some backers, picked up about, 40 backers over the past week. Once again, 22 days left to go. Also sitting at 22 days left to go is Tron Heroes of the Grid. This I have less, I'm not sure if this is going to fund. I know the Snowcats really came back in the final innings, but this one is a completely different monster. This one last week just broke 1,000 backers. Right now it's sitting at 1,000, time of recording anyway, it's sitting at 1,095 backers of the 10,000 needed to get it funded. Last week, it was at 1,061 backers, so it picked up 34 backers over a week. That's not a really good track record. So, we'll wait and see how this goes. Also, they haven't released they haven't put up the Tron Legacy for pre-order yet, which is very curious to me because I'm thinking, I feel like if they put those up for pre-order and people can get stuff now, even if it's pre-order and they have to wait, it's still closer than a HasLab, that it might help to inject new life, or maybe they're worried people are waiting for the 1/12 scale figures. And if they put them up for pre-order, less people will back this. I don't know. Either way, I feel like if they want this to go off, they have to do something to incentivize people, because right now at $260 for some 3 3/4 figures, 2 light cycles, and an LED display stand, it's not going too well. Also, like, that LED display stand doesn't come with a cable. You have to supply your own cable. What? Like, come on, at least give us a means to plug it in. Over at Kickstarter, unfortunately, the Edge Blaine did not fund. The creator who came up with this said that it's not a done deal yet, or it's not finished yet, that he's looking at other options, so this may end up coming back at some time. Now, checking out our timed pre-orders, there's a little bit less on the playing field right now. Mondo, Ray, and Mr. Nash, that timed pre-order is over. The standard figures, of course, are now available on Mondo's website and at places like Big Bad Toy Store. The Store Horsemen, the 4 Horsemen, Skeletons, and Zombies are no longer up for pre-order. I believe they are still available on Big Bad for pre-order, but I think if you order it from Big Bad, you don't get the additional head that you got with the Rocker Zombie. I'm not entirely sure about that, but they are more expensive over at Big Bad than they were on the Store Horseman page. What we do have for timed pre-orders, though, right now, time of recording, the Real Ghostbusters Sam Hain Halloween Timed Edition is up for sale. Remember, that went active on the 31st, on Halloween night. It will actually end on 11/3 on Monday. So time that you're watching this, or time that this video goes live, it will end tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you are thinking about picking up Sam Hain, you have until Monday at noon to pick him up. The only other timed pre-order that we have going on right now is going to be Hasbro Marvel Legends X-Men Apocalypse, and that ends on November 10th. We also know, and this isn't up yet, but we also know that the Arctic Hiss tank is going to go up as a timed pre-order, and it's supposed to be going up before the end of the year. So I'm not going to be surprised if on November 10th, when Apocalypse, the timed pre-order for Apocalypse ends, the week after that or so, the Hiss tank will go up as a timed pre-order. So we may be seeing the Arctic Hiss tank for G.I. Joe Classified appearing sooner rather than later. But we have Apocalypse right now, and I keep saying this is a really, really good looking figure that if I collected Marvel Legends, I would probably be into this. Who was it? Displaying Model Behavior said that at MCM London he had a talk with the Marvel Legends crew, and they had mentioned that one of the things that they were able to sell Hasbro on for making this figure is that it can be repainted and reused. So it sounds like the idea of repainting this into comic accurate colors is on the table. And that's very exciting, because seeing this in like a darker metallic paint job is going to be awesome. And now we jump into everything new that happened this past week, and we're going to start with BigBadWorkShop. Now, BigBadWorkShop has always partnered with Fresh Monkey Fiction for Operation Monster Force, or Fresh Monkey Fiction, rather, partnered with what became BigBadWorkShop, and it seems like they're the controlling money in this right now. But with this new wave that is called Operation Monster Force Dark Directive, Fwoosh Toys has been brought in on it as well. And I think it's going to be pretty obvious where their fingerprints are in this wave once we take a look at it. Like I said, this next wave that we're going to be talking about, which I believe is only 4 figures, or rather 3 figures in a 2-pack, is called Dark Directive. And its ETA for everything we're about to talk about is 3rd quarter of 2026, But we have seen how things have gone with Operation Monster Force, that I won't be surprised if that ETA, if that due date gets pushed back. But the first thing we're going to take a look at is a skeleton 2-pack that is called Those Who Trespass. And this right here is where I think Fwoosh came into the picture, because I'm pretty sure those are Fwoosh skeletons, and that's not going to be the first time we see them for this wave. So this skeleton 2-pack comes with obviously 2 skeletons, 7 heads total, 4 pairs of hands for each, 2 assault rifles with blast effects, a set of medieval weapons, including a Knights Templar shield with the cross on it, a long sword with a scabbard, daggers, and short swords. So you can fit them out as either skeletons from modern warriors or skeletons from ancient warriors. I think that's pretty cool that you have those options. Even if you're not into Operation Monster Force, I could see people getting this skeleton 2-pack, like I might, and putting this towards other resources, because then also those assault rifles I can just slip into my G.I. Joe team. Yay! But the price for this 2-pack is $69.99, $70. Like I said, third quarter 2026 ETA. The next one we're going to talk about is another skeleton piece that is called the Azure Guard. And this is basically a translucent blue skeleton. Also comes with all translucent accessories. I read a little bit on the write-up, and it's basically like an astrally projected skeleton. So astral projection undead warriors. Cool. Fights for the Forgotten King. This is the same translucent blue that we saw whenever they made the mint-flavored Forgotten King as part of the JoeCon exclusive. And that will come into, that is important because of something we're going to talk about later. But with this, the Azure Guard, you get 3 separate head sculpts, 5 sets of hands, a removable helmet, long sword, curved sword, short sword with scabbard, curved knife, straight knife, assault rifle, pistol, and even a translucent blue blast effect for the assault rifle. So everything is translucent blue with this figure. If you like translucent figures, this one is for you. This would have been really cool if they could have had this out for Halloween this year. But third quarter of 2026, you could have it in time for Halloween next year if it hits that release date. Price on this is $39.99, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the new price point for pretty much any of the standard BigBadWorkshop figures. The next one we have is Blood Prince Dracula, and this is basically a remake of something that they made already. If you remember a few years ago, there was JoeCon exclusives of Blood Prince Dracula, and I forget what the full title, The Forgotten King, was, but it was a blue translucent Forgotten King. That's why I said that Forgotten King would be important in a second, because if they're re-releasing this translucent red Blood Prince Dracula, I have a feeling that we'll see the translucent blue, like the astral projection of the Forgotten King sometime soon. We had this Wild Cherry Count Dracula, and we had a Cool Mint Forgotten King. I have a feeling we're going to see that one as well. This was an easy remake. Now, there is some newness with this, but not much. You get the translucent Count Dracula, or the translucent red Count Dracula, the translucent red sword, the translucent red blood-stained figure stand, the big blood-stained figure stand. But then new with this, you get this. That detached arm and the sword are both 2 separate accessories that you can just sort of have it like coming up out of the blood stain. That's the newness. If you already have Blood Prince Dracula from the Joe Fest, not JoeCon, Joe Fest, is that going to be worth another $39.99? Because that is the going price for our Blood Prince Dracula right there. Now, the one that I pre-ordered, because I was legit concerned that this one might sell out, is the Red Reaper. This guy looks awesome. Now, we've seen in other figures, the General specifically, but there were other ones. We've seen that there is some G.I. Joe influence, G.I. Joe homages in some of the Operation Monster Force figures, even in some of the like the Crimson Moon figures that they came out with, and probably going to be in Soldiers of Fortune as well. So we know there's homages to G.I. Joe. Looking at this picture of the Red Reaper, you cannot look at this and tell me it wasn't inspired by the cover of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 43. The only thing the figure is missing is the red eye in the socket. Hey everybody, Mac here from the future. I didn't notice this in the photo until I was editing, but that image I showed you of the Red Reaper, the close-up, if you zoom in on it, there is what appears to be a single red eye in the eye socket of the Red Reaper on the right side. So that red eye that I wished was there is actually already there to complete the look of that cover. So you can't tell me that this figure isn't an homage to that cover. I think it's awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on one. And it's awesome. I mean, having a connection to this figure, or having a connection to this cover, is the whole reason I pre-ordered this figure. I mean, he looks cool to begin with, but the connection to G.I. Joe is so obvious. So you get the skeleton with 3 alternate head sculpts. One of them like really needs to have like at least one red eye in the socket. Maybe that's something that I'll kit bash and customize somehow. 7 interchangeable hands. It has its belt-fed machine gun, an assault rifle, a pistol, a knife, and blast effects, and that cloth goods red cape. And while it doesn't say anything, in the pictures, it kind of looks like there might be a wire in that. I'm sorry, not cloth goods red cape, cloth goods red robe. But it does kind of look like there might be a wire in the outer rim of the red robe. It doesn't say one way or another. Either way, I did already pre-order this thing because I was legit concerned that this one, the coolest of them, it might sell out. This is also $39.99, $40. Keep in mind, everything we talked about is a third quarter 2026 exclusive. And knowing that they brought Swoosh in on it, basically everything in this wave, I don't want to say is reuse, but it kind of is reuse with some new accessories thrown in, which is cool because to keep the line going, they need to do stuff like this. So last week we talked about Jazwares dipping their toe into the water again with Fortnite, with having that 5-pack for sale at Costco online, and with having Beef Boss as a single figure available through Amazon. Well, it looks like Fortnite isn't the only figure line that they're sort of dipping their toes back into to see if there's interest in it, because there's a few things that have come out for Halo that I thought they had given up on the Spartan collection. First thing we have to take a look at is the GameStop exclusive Halo Reach the Spartan Collection Noble Team 6-pack figure set. This is all of Noble Team from Halo Reach. I had started collecting Noble Team and it kind of just fell off my radar. I stopped collecting them because I couldn't find Noble 1. There was a couple of other Nobles that I was having a hard time finding. Also, there were very gummy limbs, like Noble 6, for example. The legs were very gummy. The weapons I was less than enthused about because you could pretty much fold them in half. That's how soft they were. Well, with the 6-pack, they have reissued them. They have new paint deco. I've actually already seen a preview video of this 6-pack, and it looks like the weapons have been solidified a little bit better so they don't have the whole bendy thing going on. Also, the legs, the limbs aren't gummy at all anymore. So it still has that issue that the Spartan collection has with that real ugly knee articulation and a total lack of waist movement. But truthfully, the Spartans didn't have much waist movement to begin with. So I'm actually kind of excited about this. This is all of Noble Team repainted, remolded, no more gummy joints, no more gummy weapons. The biggest thing about this is you do not get any of their unhelmeted head sculpts with it. It's all Spartans with the helmets. So the few members of Noble Team that I do have, that I have the unhelmeted heads for, will probably fit on this. Although, like, the paint apps on the head sculpts for them wasn't the greatest. They very much looked plasticky and toy-y. So they might swap out. If having an unhelmeted head for you is a necessity for Noble Team, this isn't going to have it, but it does have their weapons and accessories and all of their hand options that the standard figures came up with. I think that's the big difference between the two, is just the unhelmeted heads. This is $109.99, $110. That comes out to roughly $18.33 per figure. This is a GameStop exclusive. Now, another exclusive that Jazwares has for the Spartan collection is right now in the Jazwares Vault. They have their exclusive Halo Master Chief Vault Collection, Halo 5 Guardians, and Halo Infinite. Boom. We've seen Halo Infinite Master Chief before. I think this Halo 5 Guardians might be the first time that we've seen this. So it's this Master Chief 2-pack that is a Vault exclusive, and this 2-pack is going for $40, $20 per figure, which in today's climate isn't that bad. Chief doesn't look too bad. I actually kind of liked his Halo 5 armor. Halo 5 itself was an awful game, but I kind of dug his look for it. I kind of liked the look of the Mjolnir armor for that. Now, this will be probably the last Master Chief 2-pack that we'll get. That we have had, the first 2-pack was Combat Evolved in Halo 2. The second 2-pack was Halo 3 and Halo 4. GameStop also had an exclusive Spartan Collection Master Chief 2-pack that was Combat Evolved and Infinite. So this is actually the second time we'll be seeing Infinite. I believe this is the first time we'll be seeing Halo 5. Now, having said all of that this will be the last 2-pack, that's what? Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo 5, Halo Infinite. 6, just like Noble Team. I am not going to be surprised if that Noble Team 6-pack does well. I am not going to be surprised if at the beginning of next year, or maybe towards like summer of next year, at some point next year, we're going to see a Master Chief 6-pack where it's all 6 Master Chiefs in one box set. I could totally see that happening because I have, what do I have? I don't have Combat Evolved. I have Halo 2. I think I have Halo 3 as well. I never picked up 4, but I might pick this one up because I really, like I said, I like that Halo 5, that Halo Guardians look. Keeping in mind, I do believe we're going to see a Master Chief 6-pack at some point in the future, next year maybe even. So ThreeZero has been showing up on my radar more and more recently, which kind of surprises me because ThreeZero used to just be that company that I went to for the occasional 1/6 scale figures that I collected like maybe 2 or 3 times a year, like the 12-inch line of Knights of the Old Republic figures that I collect and the 12-inch line of G.I. Joe figures that I collect. I both get from ThreeZero. Lately, they seem to have been dipping their toe into 1/6 and 1/12 and 1/12 scale adjacent figures more and more. The first one that we're going to be taking a look at is Evangelion New Theatrical Edition Evangelion Test Type 01 Final Battle Version Robo Dua action figure. Despite my love of all things mecha, I have never watched Neo Genesis Evangelion, so I have no idea what's up with this thing. All I know is it's a really cool design. I love the paint job. I always loved the paint schemes for the Evangelion mecha. I thought they always looked fantastic. They had a very unique look to them, even among like anime mecha shows. So this is a 9-inch tall figure. It is available most places for $175.99, $176. However, you can get it at Sideshow Collectibles for $165, plus Sideshow has payment plans. Honestly, for ThreeZero stuff like this, Sideshow is where I go to mostly because they tend to have a lower price. They tend to have more options as far as like collector's editions and deluxe editions, which we're going to be talking about next. And they have those payment plans, which helps you stretch out payment. So I really like Sideshow for things like this. However, it does seem like Sideshow sells out pretty quickly for things like this. ETA for this is second quarter of 2026. The next one we're going to be taking a look at, Transformers has entered the chat. Like I said, we're going to be talking about some Transformers in this episode. We have the Transformers Jazz DLX. This is the movie version of Jazz from the first Michael Bay Transformers movie in 2007. 2007, man, can you believe that? That first movie came out 20 years ago. I remember going to the theaters and seeing that movie. Whew. Okay. So we have two versions of this on Sideshow Collectibles website. We have the Collector's Edition, which is your standard edition, and we have the Deluxe Edition. Keeping in mind the DLX Transformers are non-transforming Transformers. So basically you get it in robot mode and that's it. The Collector's Edition is the figure, and it comes with his gun and his figure stand, and that's about it. The Deluxe Edition comes with the figure stand, his gun, plus you have two head portraits, two head options, one with an open face and one with a closed battle mask. It also comes with a stone figure base, or a stone looking figure base. Maybe that's supposed to be asphalt figure stand. And what it states about this is, it can interact with other designated scenic bases from future DLX Transformers from the 2007 movie series, allowing for the assembly of iconic scene from the film featuring the initial appearance of the Autobots. So it sounds like they're going to be having an entire line of 2007 Bayverse Transformers of the Autobots coming out, all with these special bases at the deluxe level, so that you can plug them together and create some sort of diorama of the first appearance of the Autobots from the movie. That sounds very cool. I don't know what the next one is going to be. This is the first time I've seen this one, so we'll have to wait and see. But that would include movie Jazz, which we have right here, Ratchet, Ironhide, Bumblebee, and Prime. So that's going to be quite a collection and quite a display once everything gets thrown together. Jazz here is 7.5 inches tall. The Collector's Edition, which is the standard edition, goes for $185. The Deluxe Edition, which quite honestly I feel like that's the one you want to get, at Sideshow is $235. Keeping in mind these are Sideshow prices. As a matter of fact, I think the Deluxe Edition is only available at places like Big Bad and Entertainment Earth, but it's $50 more. ETA for Jazz is April of 2026. So with those two, it is Mechapalooza for ThreeZero, because with Evangelion out of the way, with Transformers out of the way, we are going to a mech suit that is the Armored Trooper Votom's Space Dog version 1.5 1/12 scale. I know nothing about what this is. I know they've put out some other stuff for this property, for this IP. If this is even an IP or if this is just something ThreeZero is doing on their own, I don't know. But what we've seen before has been much smaller than this, because this is a mech suit for combat that comes with a 1/12 scale pilot figure that can get inside that mech. This is awesome. First of all, just like that, almost steampunk, it's not steampunk, I forget what you call it, but there's this future primitive look to this suit, almost like the some of the Gundam suits, only much smaller. The mech suit itself stands 13 inches tall. The pilot is 5.9, so he would actually be shorter than most 1/12 scale figures, including Classified and Legends and things like that. But I actually don't have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. Because in a real-world scenario where they were building something like this, where space was at a premium, you would want to get smaller people to pilot these things to fit inside the cramped confines of a mech suit like this. It's kind of like why horse jockeys, the best horse jockeys, are smaller individuals, shorter and lighter individuals. It makes sense to me that for something like this, you would get a shorter individual to be able to pilot something like this. So that kind of works in a real world scenario, and I kind of dig that. So the mech suit, the Votom Space Dog is what I guess what it's called. Let's see. Oh, it can also fold down into like this crate configuration right here for transport, and that's just awesome. It comes with an assault rifle with interchangeable barrels, so you can have either a rifle or a like grenade launcher adapter up front. It comes with spare magazines and 2 ammo boxes, has some interchangeable parts, so you can like customize it, but like not really customize it, maybe personalize it. The paint apps on this thing, the weathering, the wash, look fantastic. The pilot has his sidearm, interchangeable hands, a cloth goods costume that they say is completely removable. However, there are no pictures of what the pilot looks like without the costume on. Is there sculpt underneath it? Is it like an actual figure, a pilot underneath, or is it just a naked buck? We don't know right now. But it is $494.99, $495 most places. It is $455 at Sideshow Collectibles with the payment plan. That would come out to $58.50 per month with a non-refundable $45.50 deposit. I am seriously thinking of jumping on this one and pre-ordering this one because this, I mean, just look at it. This looks beautiful. What this actually reminds me of is, I forget what the Robotech name for it was, but there was a line of models in the 80s, and in Battletech, the mecha became known as the Griffin. I forget what it was in Robotech for those models, but it reminds me of this because there was some that had like the double barrel grenade launcher like you can modify here, and that assault rifle that it can tote around just at a much larger level, much larger scale. But this guy is awesome. I'm probably going to end up pre-ordering this one over at Sideshow. There's only one option for it. There's no like collector's or deluxe edition, but honestly, what else would you add to this thing? So Fisher-Price, yes, you heard me right. They have come out with their Marvel X-Men issue 2 Little People collector set. It wasn't too long ago that issue 1 of the collector set came out. That was on pre-order. That is now available. It is in stock most places. And issue 2 has come out, and we get Jean, Magneto, Rogue, and Cyclops. The box has a comic panel on back, just like issue 1 did, and the front of the box has the Sentinel's body laid out in front of it. Now, the issue 1 box had the Sentinel head, so there's nothing in the advertising for this, but I'm thinking those 2 boxes, if you kept them in the window boxes for display, those 2 boxes can sort of be butted up next to each other to continue the image of the Little People version of a Sentinel sprawled out on the ground. That would be pretty cool. This is going for $26.99. I believe that is the going price of issue 1. Issue 1 is in stock right now if you missed out on it. I'm kind of impressed with how popular the Little People collector sets are. I didn't fully realize how popular they were until I started like looking into them and realizing there is like a really strong fan base for this line. So if this is your thing, X-Men issue 2 available for pre-order right now. And now to close out the episode, we talk about Hasbro. And like I said, over the past week, a lot has dropped for Hasbro. There was the Spider-Man figures that were announced and they are up for pre-order. There was the Star Wars The Black Series wave that came out and that is up for pre-order. And I feel like that's what everybody is talking about. I haven't seen too many people talk about Transformers. I know I have some viewers that specifically asked me to talk about Transformers a little bit more. So here we go. We're going to be talking about Transformers. But before we talk about Transformers, there is one thing from the Black Series that I do want to talk about, as ridiculous as it is, and it's Star Wars The Black Series Ewok Valentine's Day Edition. This has been getting a lot of flack online, and I legitimately don't understand why. If you don't want it, don't buy it. Also, These holiday figures are obviously doing well for Hasbro, for the Black Series branding. They don't get to do a lot of reuse with the Black Series, and this is just like some fun way that they can do it. Like, I don't think they would have come out with this as an option if the holiday figures weren't doing well already, because I'm pretty sure it just started as Christmas, and then as those became more popular, that's when they dipped into Halloween. And I think this year was only like maybe the third time they had done Halloween figures. So those were obviously doing very well. A lot of the Christmas ones and I think some of the Halloween ones tend to sell out. And so why wouldn't they start checking out what they could do for other Halloweens, for other holidays? And look at this guy. It's a pink Ewok with Cupid wings. I mean, come on. This is just freaking hilarious. And who knows if this does well, if they get like people in on the Valentine's Day edition of this, are we going to see like Salacious Crumb in leprechaun gear? Like, who knows what's going to happen next? I think these holiday figures are fun. I think there's more of a audience for them than people give credit for, because they wouldn't just come up with this if there wasn't data backing that things like this would do well. You also get a pink BD droid with a heart paint app right on front. It comes with his bow and arrow, his Cupid wings, and a Valentine's Day card. $27.99, up for pre-order now. ETA is January 2026, just in time for Valentine's Day. So ladies, both of you that watch this show, if you're looking for something to get the Star Wars fan in your life for Valentine's Day, right here. By the way, almost everything that we're talking about for pre-orders right now, maybe not this, but the Transformers coming up, all of those are going to be up for pre-order on Retro Robo's store. We talked about him last week, how he is this basically the internet equivalent of a mom and pop toy shop trying to make it in the world. There's a referral link in the show notes below for Retro Robo's website. Using the link will get you $5 off your order. I'm pretty sure everything we're about to talk about he has up for pre-order on his website, with the exception of this first one that we're going to be talking about, because it is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and that is Transformers Spotlight Optimus Prime. This is actually kind of a cool idea. I understand why it's a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, because there's going to be a very limited audience for something like this. This is a 3-pack of Optimus Prime, and it is meant to highlight the design process of a figure from gray model to prototype to the final figure. And you can see that in the 3 different paint apps that this figure has. This is the same figure. Keep that in mind, that you're buying a 3-pack of the same figure, just in different paint deco. You have the stripped down gray, you have the prototype version, which is washed out, very bland paint apps, but I appreciate that the prototype version, the number that it has stamped on its chest is TR 1986, or a TF 1986. That's very cool. I like that. And then you have the final form of Optimus Prime right here in a darker, a better looking paint app. Also, they gave it some cell shading, which some people are fans of, some people aren't. Just like there are going to be some people who are fans of this 3-pack, some people aren't. So there's the 3 figures of Optimus Prime, and you get 9 accessories. And it's basically each Optimus has 3 accessories done to the style of the figure. And the 3 accessories are his blaster, his energy axe, and the Matrix of Leadership. So that's what you get with that. They do transform into his cab over alt mode. And Hasbro Pulse exclusive. The big thing that I have with a sticking point for this is that Optimus is only a 4-inch figure. I feel like they should have at least gone 5 inches, maybe like a bigger 7-inch figure. I don't know, 4.5-inch figure 3 times over for a price of $84.99, $85. I don't know, Transformers fans, what do you think of that? Is that a good deal? Is that what you would be expecting? Is a 4.5-inch Optimus Prime for this set okay? Or would you have wanted something else? Also, I think my memory of my old Optimus may be a bit tainted, because I remember holding Optimus in my hand when I was a kid, thinking to myself, that was at least a 6-inch tall figure. But my hands were much smaller. So was that G1 that I used to have, actually I still have it, it's at my dad's place, is that actually just a smaller 4-inch figure? I can't recall correctly. Let me know, comment down below. Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Now, what did come out for Transformers, basically everywhere, we have, the first thing we're going to be taking a look at is some of the primes from Age of the Primes. And the first one we have is Transformers Age of the Primes Voyager class, the 13 Amalgamous Prime. I am ashamed to say I don't know anything about the 13 primes. I feel like they're kind of rewriting the lore for the original 13 primes. That's the impression I got when I was watching Transformers 1, because I just watched that a couple weeks ago. And I feel like they're kind of rewriting the lore of the 13 primes, because I don't remember in G1 Alpha Trion being a prime. I might be wrong about that, or he may have retconned him as a prime from G1, but I don't remember him being a prime. He was just like, sort of like a lore keeper, we're getting sidetracked. We're here to talk about Amalgamus. And I guess what Amalgamus's deal was, he could transform into anything. And that's his gimmick, and that's going to be his gimmick for his figure, because as it stands, the figure does have his robot mode, which is just crazy looking, and I love it, and it looks awesome. And his alt mode is a spider tank, but he can disassemble, and you can reassemble him into various different configurations, sort of giving the impression that he can just transform into anything. I think that's pretty cool. And I remembered watching the fan stream when they were announcing Amalgamus Prime right here, and saying that like this was the best they could come up with to highlight Amalgam's power. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a legit statement, a legit way of handling it. Let me know what you think. He is 5.5 inches tall. He has a price tag of $42.99. ETA is February of 2026. Now, speaking of the primes, and this one, I don't collect Transformers, but if I did, this is the one I would be going for. It is Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class, the 13 Quintus Prime. Look at that. That is awesome. I know nothing about this dude, but just from his name and his look, I can already tell he was basically the founder of the Quintessons, I'm guessing. Just like Megatron or Megatronos was the founder, the beginning of Megatron and the Decepticons. This thing looks awesome. Look at that. His robot mode and his alt mode are works of art. It looks beautiful. I don't know if Quintus Prime is supposed to have legs, or if he's just supposed to hover on sort of that skirt of tentacles right there, kind of like how the Quintessons did in the G1 movie. But I could totally believe that he's supposed to hover on that tentacle of legs, because one thing they did that I thought was genius, because it very much hides them, is that the lower part of Quintus's leg and his feet are translucent green plastic that they sort of become invisible and blend in with the tentacles, giving the impression that when he stands, or giving the illusion when he stands, that he's just sort of hovering there. That's a very cool feature. That's a very cool way of getting around if he's supposed to float. His alt mode, that slipstream jet fighter, whatever that thing is supposed to be, spaceship, I don't know, that thing looks really awesome as well. He comes with the Ember Stone. I have no idea what that is, but that sounds really cool. Maybe it has something to do with the beginning of the Quintessons. Please, seriously, anybody watching this who knows about Quintus Prime, let me know in the comments down below. I'm really dying to know more about this guy. He looks awesome. He is 5.5 inches tall, which is a crime. This dude should be like 9 inches tall. That's how awesome he is. And he is $27.99. Also has an ETA of February 26, 2026. Something else that they're revisiting that I appreciate is they're going back and taking a look at the Junkions and giving them second life, or maybe this is third or fourth life. I don't know. Like I said, haven't really been paying attention to Transformers too much. But I like that they're not just making them all motorcycles like from the 86 movie, Transformers the movie, that they're giving them all like different looks, different alt modes, different personalities. And it sort of has like this new Mad Max-esque look to them. For example, we have right here Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Junkion Jalopy. His alt mode looks like some hellscape version of Max's V8 Interceptor, and I think that looks awesome with those big pipes, that big blower coming up, the armor going around the windshield and the windows of the car, that big cow catcher coming down off the front. Like Mad Max or Death Race, one of the two. This thing looks awesome. And it still very much has like that same brutal, like spiky motif that the original Junkions had. This is very cool. The only accessories that he comes with are his two blasters. Once again, 5.5 inches tall, $27.99. Once again, ETA February of 26. And then, of course, how can you revisit the Junkions without having Transformers Age of the Primes Voyager class animated Junkion Wreck-Gar? My man, my hero, my champion, voiced by Eric Idle originally. Wreck-Gar right here looks fantastic. A heavy metal garbage truck. Come on. Come on. This looks really cool. Stuff like this is actually making me like wish I did collect Transformers again. I really like how in the robot mode they were able to incorporate the original faceplate, the original look for Wreck-Gar. I appreciate that. But it's like that's where the similarities have ended. And he has a, what does he have? He has like a, like construction like bucket claws that he can put on one hand for a weapon. And then he has like wrecking shears that he can put on his other arm, use that as a weapon. He also comes with a blaster. He is a 7-inch tall figure, which is what Quintus Prime should have been. He is $42.99. Once again, ETA February of 2026. We're coming down into the last two that I want to talk about. And this one, Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Quick Strike. He kind of, to me, looks like a Timu Scorponok, and I'm not sure if I like that or not, but he is very unique. This was one of the reasons I wanted to talk about him. He has a very unique look. He has a very unique paint job. I have no idea who this guy is at all. I've never heard of him. Obviously, he came after my time. The tail in Scorpion mode is a hooded cobra's head, and his two pincer claws are snakes' heads. So I don't know what this madman's story is, but there's something interesting going on here. I don't know how I feel about the paint deco. The paint deco that he has almost looks like this would be like, I don't know, like a chase version or a convention exclusive version paint job. This looks like the alternate paint job for a figure that has a much, has a much darker paint app to him. So I don't know how I feel about this, but he is very unique. And because he's so unique, I can imagine he has a considerable fan base just because he stands out. Sort of like Scorpina, or not Scorpina, Arachna, I can't remember what her name is, that we looked at a few weeks ago. So he is 5 inches tall, $27.99, ETA February of 2026. And the last one that we're going to be taking a look at is Transformers Age of the Primes Leader Class Razor Claw. The Decepticons have all the coolest designs, and Razor Claw here only drives that point home. His alt mode is a winged wolf. How BA is that? A winged wolf with a big gun on his back. Come on. Come on. And I really like his paint deco. Black and purple, classic Decepticon colors. And I really like how at the tips of his wings, that paint job just kind of blends into those red feathers on the wingtips right there. That looks very cool. 9-inch tall figure, $59.99. This one, ETA March of 2026. this guy's cool. Thank you for sticking around and making it to the end. We had a lot of Transformers to talk about today. One of them being the Junkions, the new revamp the Junkions are getting. And I think this is very cool. I like the new direction that it's going in. Maybe this isn't so new, but new to me. But I also understand if there are people that are still jonesing for like that G1 Junkion experience, that they're all basically like these hobbled together like rat rod motorcycles, and that they can ride each other. That was one of the coolest parts about the movie, was when one would ride the other, they would get tripped up, one would transform into the motorcycle, and the motorcycle would transform into the robot, and they would switch places. If you want that, there are options on Big Bad Toy Store right now. There's KFC, Keith's Fantasy Club, that it's a third-party company that has released a number of Junkion-esque motorcycle transformer figures. These are between 7 and 8 inches tall each. The price tag is right now between $80 and maybe $100 each, but it's worth checking out if you're looking for that G1 Junkion itch that needs scratched. Well, look who made it to the end, and if you made it this far, obviously you liked what you were watching, so why don't you go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you already are a subscriber, you're a legend, and I love you for it. At this point in the video, this is usually where I would promote channel memberships or subscriptions through our Ko-fi page. However, for the fall fundraiser, it's not about me, it's all about the kids. Keep in mind, we are raising funds for Toys for Tots, and any donation would be greatly appreciated as we strive to reach our goal. For more information on that, click the link for the Ko-fi page right here where you can see our fall fundraiser video and donate if you have the means. Until next time, everybody, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.